we go. Another week of your Cochrane Right Now. Hey there, my name's Eric Ruddle, joined by Lauren Meister on this weekly podcast that we catch you up with everything going on here in Cochrane, Alberta, everything that matters. And
It's
Lauren,
true.
it is not minus 45 anymore.
Oh, it has been the best week. January here in Cochrane. I mean, we were under a deep freeze for, I don't even know, it felt like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think it was just about a month, though. Like the Bow River is pretty much frozen over still here, pretty much all of Cochrane.
Yeah, and they closed like a ton of pathways because people were slipping and sliding everywhere. It's funny because I went down to get a photo of like the pathways closed and there were just families walking along. They're like, oh, these barricades mean nothing to us.
No big
Good
deal.
times.
Well, it's always interesting. It's actually kind of pretty to look at when it gets frozen over, but it looks different. So we're actually close to the river at our house, and so I always look at it. I know, la-di-da. And I do spend a lot of time, as you know, I love the pathways here in town, and I spend a lot of time always looking at them. And last year, I don't know if you remember, but the way they froze, it almost looked like shelves of ice. It looked like these like glaciers, you know, it was kind of weird. But this year, it's just like chunks of ice. I don't know. It's just a little bit different.
It's not as pretty.
It's not as pretty, but it's still, it looks cool. And it was just so early this year to freeze over.
Have you found anything in town to take advantage of this like nice chunk?
Yeah. I've gone skating already. I went and checked out the brand new rink up in Fireside.
How is it?
It is so good. It's like a full on like rink. You can bring your hockey stick.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play hockey or anything like that, but they have boards. They have like special seating. It's covered, so if it's snowing, they have lights and whatnot, so you can go there in the evenings. Yeah, it's a really nice ice surface.
So size-wise versus like downtown being the biggest one, and Tim Bannister probably, and then
I think
Mitford. What size are we looking at?
It's like a full on skating like ice hockey rink. So it's like similar to the Tim Bannister Memorial Rink. So very comparable to that. So it's nice that it's on the other end of town. So just more options
Is
for
it
people.
lit?
Yeah, like it's lit up. Yeah,
Ooh,
so you can go there in the evening or like after 4 o'clock when it gets dark.
Exactly, right? Yeah. For us, nothing too crazy. Went tobogganing once or twice.
Oh, okay.
Kids cracked heads together. Always great.
Did they wear helmets?
Of course, but of course the helmet hit the other one in the face. So, but no concussions.
Where's your?
Nice.
That's good to know. Where's your favorite sledding hill?
Oh, like if I was to go, Bow Ridge.
Yeah.
Right? Like Bow Ridge is the monster. Now that I'm a little bit older, you can only get a couple of runs in before you find out just how unfit you are.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of work hiking back up the hill.
Yeah. And then I don't know what they'd call it nowadays. My kids like the Smitty's Hill is what we called it.
But
Now
Smitty's isn't there anymore.
Yeah, it'd be the GM Hill.
But don't you find that one tough? Because there's a path at the bottom. So then on the warmer days, if the path is cleared, like you hit that and then all of a sudden you're just like come to this halt.
Yeah.
And then like I've hit that one hard and I've hurt myself. Like, have you ever done that?
No, I actually haven't done that hill in a little while. My wife took them the other day there. And then also the St. Tim's Hill up in Sunset.
Right.
Those are probably the biggest.
So that's where you take your kids for the most part. Yeah.
So it's pretty nice. But also people in town, Candace Davies here in the newsroom, finding out that quick temperature switches aren't so great. And it can cause some housing issues. She had some Arctic rain or attic rain.
I know.
Right? Like,
yeah. So luckily her husband, Jim, he's a handy guy. He's a handyman. Yeah. So he was apparently digging around in the attic. I think he actually went up into their attic, and she said that he was like fixing things and whatnot. But she said that things were kind of torn apart at the moment, and I think they maybe need some new parts and whatnot. But their fan was taken down. But that's a pretty common problem right now.
Oh yeah, so many people are dealing with it, and you got to imagine it's probably a busy time to be like a tradesperson.
Yeah, anybody who deals with
anyone
that
who does a real job
stuff. Yeah, the non-talky talk type job. We actually like to, I don't even know if this actually works or not, but to hopefully prevent that from happening, we keep all of our bathroom fans, and then we have like a circulation, like a ventilation fan going in our house. According to my husband, that's supposed to help prevent that from happening. So we keep that stuff going 24/7. As soon as one of the kids turns one of the bathroom fans off, instantly
turn it back on.
Exactly, turn that back on. So,
well, over the cold snap there, it was really dry. So we have like a dial that apparently changes the humidity of our house. And when we first bought it, the guy's like, always keep it at 0. Well,
what?
Then, yeah, I know.
That seems weird.
I know. So we were like, well, it's really dry. Let's bump this guy up to 50. Well, let me tell you, don't do that because like our windows were completely just like ice castled.
But at least you can draw like nice pictures and stuff.
No,
Like that's
like,
something
they
for the
were
kids to do.
frozen.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you can scrape them.
Exactly, yeah, which apparently is also bad. I am not a great homeowner, but I got to actually spend a lot of time in my house over the holiday, Lauren, because I got COVID.
I can relate. I also got COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of people in Cochrane. It seems like myself, I know over 10 different families who, especially over the holidays, it ran through their house.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, okay. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience? So, December 22nd.
Yeah,
right.
so
that was the day.
It was a Wednesday, but I was up all night with the chills, and I was very cold. And then I text Lauren saying, "Hey, I'm out. I'm not feeling hot." I didn't even think of COVID, to be honest with you. I was just like, "Oh man, I am just not feeling awesome."
Yeah.
And then, then Lauren, you were like, "Well, I really wish you would have came in because I also am not feeling awesome."
So I still remember that morning because I had just gotten into work. Yeah, it was 5 a.m, and you sent me a text message. And you were not really a morning person.
No, if I go to bed before midnight, it is early day for me.
Yeah. So like you and I usually don't talk until like our first meeting in the morning, which is 9:30 in the morning. And I feel like you're probably just rolling out of bed usually
correct.
for that meeting. So, so for you to send me a text message at 5 a.m, I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, what's going on? And I also did not feel great that day.
Yeah.
I had a cold before that for about 10 days, but I had taken 3 rapid tests.
Oh, yeah. Like it was a true cold, right? Like
it
was
a
you
cold.
tested every which way.
For sure.
Negative.
And it was negative. I did not have COVID. And I kept on telling myself that day, even though you had a fever and didn't feel good.
We're fine. This is fine.
Fine. We're good. And at that point, I had planned to go to Saskatchewan for Christmas the very next day.
Yeah.
And you wrecked all my plans.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. But I still remember not feeling well, and I had to get through, whatever. And you had taken a rapid test, and you told me you had a very faint line.
Yes.
That second line.
Yeah. So it didn't really appear, and I was like, oh, great. I'm free. Like, I don't feel great, but whatever. There's colds going around.
Yeah.
And then just as like the next half an hour went by, it just got darker and darker and darker. And I wasn't feeling horrible. I only had that fever the first night, and then it was like a cold, right? I had a head stuffiness, a little bit tired kind of thing.
Yeah.
If anyone listened to the morning show over those couple of days, I didn't sound great. And I was doing that from my COVID cave is what we called it, my bedroom. But you were hit a little bit harder than me.
Yeah. So I think it was because I was sick beforehand for 10 days. So it was about 8 days there. I felt rough.
Yeah.
Like I definitely didn't feel good. It was a lot of like the head cold symptoms for sure, and extreme exhaustion and a cough. But yeah, it was that exhaustion, like just and like windedness too. And like I don't have any underlying health conditions, so it was tough. So
it was fun.
Yeah, it was a very different Christmas, and
not in Saskatchewan. Which is our
exactly.
guessing.
So didn't make it to Saskatchewan. Definitely spent the entire Christmas in Cochrane in my house. But it was nice in some ways. It was very quiet.
Yeah.
Lots of rest was had. My whole family did get COVID. So it was a very, very quiet.
Very quiet. Yeah, mine as well. But it was also it wasn't unique for that time.
Yeah.
My wife knows a lot of young families, and pretty much I'd say 8 out of 10 of them that she reached out to were like, "Oh yeah, no, we got it too." Like, yippee, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just. You and I are also very careful people.
Yeah.
We are wearing our masks. We're super vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. But it just gets you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Cochranites can relate.
For sure. I mean, as everyone knows, it's kind of spreading like wildfire right now, whether you're vaccinated or not. And thank goodness, we're recovered and we're back at work and whatnot. But
yeah, I know. Like a piece of you want to get through this and then be able to say for the rest of your life, I didn't get it. But also on our side, you're like, okay, hopefully I'm through it now. It never happens again. And I don't know. It's just, it's something that I think a lot of people will have to deal with.
Yeah.
And of course, after, like, I hit day 10 on my quarantine time, and then the rules came out, and they're like, it's just 5 days now.
I know. That was the biggest ripoff of all of it. Is like right as we were just like ending our isolation period, the government went and changed the rules. It's like, what? I was stuck in my house this whole time.
Yeah.
And if I would have caught COVID like a week or two later, then I would have only had to do 5 days. Like, how does this work?
Yeah, and I only had symptoms probably for like 3 days. So for the rest of it, I was just bopping around, being like, I kind of wish I could go outside, even though it's so cold. But spending so much time in your house for 10 days, did you think, oh man, in Cochrane, housing is insanity right now? Like, I know several people who list their house, and within the first day, it's gone. Yeah. So sitting in your house that long where you're like, you know what? We could sell this.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you look at how many houses are for sale right now, there's like 20 some houses, like 22 houses or something on the market. And one of my good friends, actually, they just put their house on the market last week. It sold within 24 hours, like just gone. And they're leaving town, which is really sad. It's one of my friends. But yeah, like totally. It kind of makes you wonder. It's like, oh, I could sell my house right now. I could make all this money. But then what? Where are you going to go?
You have to buy another house that is also doing the exact same thing.
For sure.
Right? So unless you were leaving town, which it also seems like this is kind of everywhere. Like I even saw East Coast being like, you know what? It's really expensive to live here. And that's always been the like, if you want to live cheap, move out east. But I know so many people who didn't even list. Real estate agents came to them being like, we have a lot of people talk about this area. Do you want to sell? And no one's done it to me, though.
I feel like if I didn't have kids,
oh my gosh,
this would be like the perfect time, or if my kids were older or something, because then it's like I would maybe sell my house and go live in my trailer for a little while.
Oh yeah, get a tiny home.
Yeah, or a tiny home. I could not do that with my kids.
No, you don't want to do it with 2 children. You don't think no walls would be not a great time? 200 square feet.
Yeah, that'd be
We've
so
talked
much
about
fun.
it.
Yeah,
we've talked about it, but like, what do you do at night when you're like, I just want to watch a TV show?
Right?
But
and
your
kids are sleeping
right there.
Like, right there.
With no wall.
Yeah.
Right? Do you sit there with headphones on and like don't talk to your spouse?
Yeah.
And where would you put the tiny home? Like,
yeah. There's not really a good spot for it in
like,
town.
Maybe Cochrane needs a tiny home community. It'd probably be pretty hot.
Yeah. Oh, I think it'd be popular. Yeah. There's a demand for that for sure. Yeah. I don't know, all these questions. I don't know, especially because right now, like, there's not a lot of housing options, and everybody wants to live in Cochrane. It's a desirable community,
especially with the work at home kind of, everybody's getting into that. So if you work in Calgary and you're like, man, they're saying I can just come in once a month, the commute's not so bad then. Yeah, I think this will probably stay the same for at least 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer.
I don't know.
But with my kids, we also have a bunch of kids stuff out in front of my house, and I think that's probably stopping a lot of looky-loos. They're walking by, oh, look at this house. Oh, great. They have 15 cars driving around. Yeah, let's keep walking.
I don't want to go to that house.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, that's everything happening in Cochrane right now. And we do this podcast every single week. You can catch it on all your favorite podcast services. And yet again, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.